stomach did take a little bit of a spill, so hence the boot on her, but she's doing fine. Next, as Brad Bakshi, he embodies evil in all its varying forms, Danny Booty. And playing Dana, the tester, the streamer, the coder, to, well, you will see what comes next, Imani Hakim. And alongside her as Rachel, the voice of reason and social justice, and, well, you will see what comes next, Ashley Birch. And last, but not least, as Joe, the scariest assistant in history, Jesse Ennis! That's how you do it. Welcome, guys. Let's get right into it. Rob and Meg and David, Mythic Quest is kind of having a moment. The first season was fantastic, but it seemed like in the second season, it really clicked with people. And now you can see, I mean, look at the room and how many people are here. What do you think happened? What's this? Wow. What is the secret of the success of Mythic Quest?
You were standing. There's a chemistry.
I do believe, yes, the chemistry of the cast is just undeniable. And I think season one, we realized that we had a show, I think within a half a day of shooting, and you don't really have a TV show that actors go to jail. It feels like we have real chemistry.
And Megan, I know that you and the writers do think in big picture ways about unifying themes. I mean, one of the reasons why I think it connects with people is that it's not just comedy, there's more going on. Can you give us a little sense of some of the bigger issues and themes that you dig into in the next season of Mythic Quest?
Yeah, we're dealing a lot with the central theme of the show, which is the partnership between Ian and Poppy. How that's going to survive when they break away from Mythic Quest, where Poppy was decidedly working for Ian, and they tried to work together on Poppy's game. The show is all about like egos and how you set those aside to get creative work done. And so we're going to see how they fare, their partnership fares when they're outside the protective bubble of Mythic Quest.
Speaking of getting outside of a protective bubble, I want to talk to you, Imani, for a second, because you and your character Dana and Rachel, played by Ashley Birch, you guys are in a literal protective bubble, well, it was a box, for quite some time. But I wanted to start with you because you are very central to everything that happens in this season. What you're doing and what you become and the way you fit into all the different relationships is really central. So I would love to talk to you a little bit about how you feel Dana is kind of evolving into her own person.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing first, we find out that Dana and Ian have a lot of similarities, and they're just like this unlikely duo. And Dana's really coming into her own because in season one, we see Dana as this nice person who doesn't really say a lot. But Dana isn't nice. She's kind. But don't say her kindness her weakness. And she has this passion in the pit of her gut, and she doesn't know exactly how to tackle that until she aligns with Ian and Poppy. And by the way, who are terrible bosses, but masterminds at what they do. And she takes what her bosses are willing to give her, and she makes it her own, and she just slays, really.
She does in fact slay. Repeatedly. So basically Dana levels up.
Yes.
And I think it's safe to say that Rachel levels up also.
Yes.
So you...
Not to say stuff wrong.
No, I mean, well, Rachel was always very committed to a kind of moral certainty. And this season, not so morally certain anymore, are you?
No, I think what we discover about Rachel in this season is that she's kind of dumb, actually. And that she's sort of been adopting, like,
certain types of language and certain types of morals because she thinks it's the right thing to do, and she's sort of realizing that she actually wants different things, because she's a dum-dum also. It's very confusing. And so there's a bit of an existential crisis that she has going into the season of like, who am I, what am I willing to do, and what am I actually good at? Because it turns out I'm not smart enough to be a writer.
You're smart enough to do something else that's pretty evil, and I love it. Let me turn to Poppy and I, to Rob and Charlotte, because all the things that happen on Mythic Quest all seem to spin out from the chaos or the order that your relationship creates. And it struck me as interesting that the two of you are creative people, playing creative people. You're creative people in a partnership, playing creative people in a partnership. And I'm wondering, how much of your own process and experience and your own relationship with friends and coworkers do you incorporate as your characters collide and fall away from each other over the course of the season?
Okay.
I can repeat the question if you like.
Firstly, I think that one of the differences between our characters and who we are and our real relationship is one of the things that serves the relationship of the characters well. See, I'm starting a question in a way that's reflective of what my brain was doing as you asked it. Which is that we have a lot of respect for each other, and we're really good friends, and so we're able to be horrible to each other on screen. But I think that also it lays a foundation for what Poppy and I's relationship really is, which is that they're best friends, and they need each other, and they care about each other deeply, and they just kind of don't know, like they need couples counseling, you know?
Big time. Rob, if the two of you, as your characters, did go to couples counseling, do you think there's any positive outcome whatsoever?
I don't think these people would serve, I don't think self-reflection it would be a strong suit of either one of them. And I think if they were able to figure out those problems, there would be no show. That's kind of what the show is about, is taking people who are very gifted and driven and ambitious and want something desperately. They want to make the greatest game that they possibly can. And they recognize that they need each other. And that they do love each other, but it's a constant push-pull because they have different wants and needs within the relationship and different working styles. And so much of the show is about collaboration and working together. And the pitfalls and struggles and the conflicts that come from that. And if you strip that away, then the show goes away. So we gotta keep doing it.
Yep. So no couples counseling because we would like a lot more Mythic Quest, please. Thank you. Yeah, let's applaud against therapy. Ooh, therapy. Speaking of somebody who desperately needs therapy, David, I feel so bad for your character. And look, you are on both sides of the camera, so you are partially in control of your own fate, but I think partially, because of thin partiality. I kind of enjoy watching life and people absolutely beat David down because when you get back up, it's just joyful. It's amazing to watch. So I wonder, is that how you see, or how do you see David's journey on the show? And also, is David okay?
You see yourself in me, in my character.
Awesome.
What was the question?
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
My journey is well, this season specifically, you'll see that Ian and Poppy have left and thus left me in charge, and we get to see what it's like when Mythic Quest is left at the helm of David Brittlesby, which I'm on time and on budget, baby. If I had a tattoo, that's what my character would have, on time and on budget, and I'm doing great.
Where would the tattoo be?
Until they try to worm themselves back in. But I'm searching for a beefcake this year, and I find it in Joe Manganiello, who I actually went to school with. So we were, back in the day in college. So
I played D&D
it's two powerhouses of acting, joining forces, and it was electric. You know, it was a close set.
I don't feel so bad for him anymore. Let's talk about some evil for a second. And that means it's time to talk to Danny and Jesse, because show?
Shark Week.
Shark Week!
Shark Week.
Ready for Shark Week? Sorry, that's a different show.
You guys, I'm sorry. I'm fascinated by watching how the two of you are able to kind of go from these like broadly hysterically villainous characters, but then also you show how subtly sweet and human and vulnerable you are. How do you do that without getting whiplash? I mean, like, it's kind of amazing to see how human and inhumane you both are.
How do we do? How do we not get? We get whiplash.
You get whiplash. Yeah.
My neck hurts all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it would be hard to be. Well, is it not? Yeah.
It's not hard.
You're looking at me. I think it's easy.
It's so fun. I love it. And at first we were like, "What? Are you like Joe?" And I was like, "No, I'm nothing like Joe." But 3 seasons in, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're really
What's got it going on?
It's fun."
Brad, Danny, your character Brad goes to prison, comes out, and I think we can all see you've taken a new job.
Yeah, for Brad, going to prison was a win. So it was really fun to play that. And then, as you see in the trailer here, he finds his way back into Mythic Quest. This time in a new role as a janitor. Just the janitor. And it's this fun journey where I believe, maybe it's time for me to reform. I'm a changed man. David may be a little suspicious of my behavior, what I'm up to. And I have access to different places in the building too.
But you're just a janitor.
Did you do research, Danny, to be a janitor? How do you do that? I really did not. I just showed up. So I wouldn't say I'm a good janitor, but I'm learning.
And you now, I think, Danny, after have a successful run on Community, and now plays a character on this great show. Now, Mythic Quest. At this point, Danny, are you able to fly private?
Craig, I'm on DuckTales.
There it is. My work here is done, but I'll continue. It's not going to get better than that. Rob, one of the things that you take to heart is bringing people up from within as the show goes through. And I know last season, Megan, you directed your first episode of television on the show. And this season, 3 first-time directors on stage with us right now: David Hornsby, Danny Mythic, and Ashley Burke. So, how did it go, guys? Especially, coming from a place of being an actor and having directors directing you all the time. What did you learn? What are some of the big lessons or things that you learned from the experience being on the other side?
I learned that David loves prop work. He had a lot of questions about the props he was going to have and where things were going to be. We knew that already. Well, we knew that already. I wasn't surprised, but I was just further appreciative of how amazing our cast and crew is. Because when you're on the acting side of it, things just happen. You don't realize the level of skill and commitment and communication that needs to take place between the crew for things to run smoothly. And you can just ask any ridiculous thing, and it'll happen so quickly. And it's absolutely astonishing. So it just gave me such a huge appreciation for the amazing crew that the EPs have put together.
Dan, any great lessons for the tours?
It was just tremendously supportive environment. So, thank you. I felt like it was really easy to kind of step into our world because we all know each other, so it made it really easy. I learned about reflections. I learned about a lot of things. I think one of the things that was the funniest to me and vivid is that one of my first decisions I had to make is someone from the art department, Susanna, came up to me with a stack of Wayne Knight photos, licensed. And said, we just need you to pick one. And at the time I wasn't sure what was going on yet, and I had a stack of about 50 Wayne Knight images. And I just needed to pick one. And I was like, this is directing. It
And Mr. Hornsby, any great lessons for those thinking about directing a television show?
It was pretty easy. Pretty straightforward, but no. I actually had a great time. It was sort of like a project where it was completely frantic, and you were trying to land the plane, things were falling off, and you're in it, and you're running around, you're answering the 50 questions, but you're discovering things, and you're coming up with bits, and it was really fulfilling. It was really fulfilling. There was a little bit of addiction. I want to do it again.
Oh. David also, in true David Hornsby fashion, directed the episode where he has the main storyline.
I was very tough on myself.
Lots of costume changes. He was in every costume change. So many costumes.
I'm hearing you.
Show. That's sort of the story. I don't know.
You'll see the costume that he's wearing.
No, we're not airing that one.
I just want you to imagine being lost around by someone dressed like that.
I've seen it. It's sexy as hell. You guys are gonna love it. Okay, Rob, Meg, David, question for you guys. Both of the first 2 seasons have featured a flashback episode that wanders away from the main narrative and then plays back in thematically. Season 1 was A Dark, Quiet Death. And season 2 was Backstory. That's right. I think everyone here would love to know, is it going to happen again?
Yes.
And not that you have to go beyond the simple single syllable you uttered, but anything else to tell the people that came here today to see you?
I don't understand not giving away things. We want people to watch.
Right.
So can't we tell people what the episode is going to be about?
You're the boss.
Yeah, no, you can do whatever you
Hey,
want.
we're the boss.
You're the boss.
We are.
That brings in that question.
Tell people what the episode is about. Or no, I don't know. It feels like you should tell them.
I want to know what it's about.
It's a story about, it's a little bit of an origin story about Poppy and I. So, good one.
It appears that the people who come to Comic-Con like information.
Do comic book people like origin stories?
Are those? Okay, there's like a moment there that I just have to kind of single it, because I love it. Obviously, every workplace comedy is made by people working in a workplace. Does it ever get meta for you guys? Like, basically, what's the most Mythic Quest thing about being Mythic Quest?
Meg, I'll handle this. Magical world. Work together. They have very strong Meg and I talk.
Guys, please don't fight.
It would be meta when I moved to Australia because I can't stand either. Yeah, you're right what you know.
You're right, what you know.
I don't know, does it seem better to you guys?
Whatever it is, it's working, and we're happy for it. I have a question for the cast. All of you can answer, and you may. You get your script for the first time, you read through, I assume you just read your own lines. What do you know your characters really well now, what do you kind of look forward to the most? Like, what makes you the happiest when you see it in a script for your character?
When Dana calls out Poppy.
That's actually my favorite thing to see too.
Because Poppy just gives a wrath to everyone she sees, and I think Dana's one of those people who's like, no, cut it out. And I love to see that.
Yeah.
I love anytime Joe's sent on a mission. And she's always on a mission, but she's actually been assigned a duty. She approaches it with a terminal intensity. And
And there are some missions in this kind of
yeah, we've got great stuff. She's going to make miracles happen for David.
Just wait. What about you, Ashley?
I love it when I get to speak, and I have scenes other people. No, I mean, I just love anything that I get to do on this. But I love having scenes with Imani. It's always very fun to get to work with Imani. Aww. Yeah, that's right. Should we play the teaser again?
I like think any of the walk-in talks I have with Jesse, I think they're always really fun for us to do this choreograph, not look at each other, menacing, scheming together. We have a scene this year where it's awesome, just doing the entire scenes where we're not making any eye contact whatsoever. That's always really fun to do. I also get to drink some mochachinos this year, which is right, drinking mochachinos, that's fun.
I like to wear silly costumes. What silly costumes? Like,
Or, so, they're telling you what they want. I hope you're listening. More silly costumes. There's some great ones coming. Oh, we mentioned Corinth being the silly costume already. Yeah, holy shit, it's incredible.
I know for me, when I get excited when we start writing stories, and then when scripts start coming in, when the writers have finished their drafts, and to see the different combinations of people is really fun. So, Imani and I were talking about in season 2 that we hadn't done a lot of just I and Dana scenes together. So, when we started talking about season 3, we started pitching on a bunch of different scenarios in which Ian and Dana could be in scenes together, and those were some of my favorite scenes that I had to shoot this year. So that's just really fun to approach things in terms of pairings, and thinking about like, oh, I think it would be really great, not only for a narrative arc, but also just for an enjoyment, like the enjoyment of making the show. That's a lot.
And this next season, certainly not the last season, there's at least another season past it. Do you have any sense of where this is all going, or do you kind of play it by ear in between seasons? Is there any, I know the answer to, is there anything one tells will be no. But can you give us just a little hint of something, anything about where this is all going?
Going to season 4 next, and then there's going to be a season 5.
Yes.
Where's it going? I mean, we have some ideas. I feel like because we knew we had a season 4, we wrote the end of this season with that in mind. So last season we ended being like, this might be it, and kind of had no plan. And then when we started season 3, we were like, why did we end it this way? Everybody starts small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.